Still waiting for life to start? Meanwhile, it's already happening. Every day you wait for a moment that will make everything begin. Waiting for motivation, for a sign, for the perfect time. But that moment rarely comes clearly. You prepare, plan, and think tomorrow or next week will change everything. Yet tomorrow comes, and you're still in the same place, waiting for something that may never appear. Sometimes you feel you need to start everything from scratch, waiting for the right circumstances, for everything to be in place, for you to be completely ready. But no one can guarantee complete readiness. You remain on standby, even knowing complete readiness may never arrive. You wait for motivation that makes starting feel worthwhile, looking for a spark to ignite your movement. But that spark is usually brief and fragile. When you try to move, your mind interrupts with 1,000 what-ifs and later. If not today, maybe tomorrow. If the conditions were right, I would start then. This cycle continues, and you remain in a constant state of readiness. Sometimes you think you need a big opportunity, waiting for the day when everything feels right so your action will be real. But opportunities often remain invisible, and you stay waiting for that moment that may never come. Each day passes with small plans, reflections, and preparation, but real action is delayed. You wait for external motivation, someone to inspire you, someone to approve, someone to point the way. And when no one comes, you feel suspended. Your mind keeps asking, when is it the right time? Why haven't I started yet? Will I be ready when it happens? Answers are fleeting, but the waiting continues. Sometimes it feels like life itself should start for you. You wait for outside circumstances, but nothing waits for you. Days pass, and you stay on standby. Not acting becomes a habit, not out of laziness, but out of waiting for the right moment. Sometimes your mind fills with thoughts. If I don't start now, opportunities might be lost. Yet a quiet fear holds you back. Not overwhelming, not sharp, just a persistent pause that grows with each day. You wait to feel ready, waiting for enough energy, enough confidence, enough certainty. But none of these fully arrive. Life does not wait for you, and that keeps the cycle of waiting alive. Sometimes you wait for someone else's approval, even if you don't want it. Your mind wants someone to say, now is the time, start now. And when no one does, you remain suspended. This quiet, persistent sense of being on hold feels heavy. Not panic, not sudden pressure, just constant stillness that grows each day. You wait for ideal conditions, but ideal conditions never fully arrive. Nothing is ever perfectly ready. The more you wait, the longer the cycle becomes, and you feel the time passing while still waiting to begin. A spark or a sudden shift. You think that when it comes, everything will begin on its own. But the day comes quietly, normally, and you're still in the same place, waiting. Over time, this waiting quietly becomes part of your routine. You plan, reflect, prepare, but real action remains on hold. Your mind constantly asks, is this the right time? Am I ready? When the moment comes, will I be able to act? Answers are unstable, unclear, yet the waiting continues. You often wait to feel right. Confidence, certainty, motivation. And when these don't appear, you remain waiting. This quiet, constant waiting is invisible to most people, but it is real and heavy. Sometimes you think that if you don't start now, opportunities will be lost, yet the fear of starting holds you back. Not strong or terrifying, just soft and persistent. This keeps you waiting, even when small actions are possible. But here's a subtle truth. Waiting is not stillness. Even while waiting, your mind and attention are moving, preparing. Decisions, thoughts, plans, they are small steps happening without your noticing. Sometimes, it is enough to notice that you are waiting. To recognize that this waiting is part of the process, not a finish line. It can be a sign that you are thinking, reflecting, and preparing. This awareness, even in silence, is meaningful. Over time, you realize that you don't need a big spark to start. Small steps, even invisible ones, are shaping your path. You don't need to act perfectly or completely. Even small actions create movement, and life continues. Long waiting becomes an opportunity to observe, to learn, and to practice patience. You see that life never starts at a perfectly clear moment. It is made of steps that unfold slowly and steadily. You understand that conditions never need to be perfect to start. You can begin, even with uncertainty, even without full motivation, even when you don't feel completely ready. Every move, every small action, is a real beginning. Life is always in motion. Not acting doesn't mean stopping. It is part of the process of preparation. You are learning, readying, and experiencing, even while waiting for a moment to start. With awareness, waiting can feel calm, not heavy. You notice that life never waits for anyone, but you are part of it, with small steps, with attention and presence, with ongoing preparation and reflection. You are allowed to be here. You are allowed to start slowly, without waiting for the perfect moment. You are allowed to experience waiting without judgment or pressure. Starting life, large or small, is never completely defined or ready. You can begin right now and move forward with calm. Waiting is common and natural, but waiting can also be an opportunity for preparation, focus, and presence. When you notice the flow, you see that life has already started, and you can be part of it. You are allowed to start, without hurry, without pressure. Every step, every small action, is a real beginning. You are in the flow of life. You can start, calmly and steadily, whenever you are ready.